What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is part 2. Hydrolocked vehicle. Engine got flooded. Water damage inside the vehicle. We're gonna do a compression test today. So I got my compression gauge here. So this vehicle, I already pulled out the plugs. So we're gonna put this on a cylinder number 1. So compression test. Minimum pressure, 156 psi. Difference between each cylinder, 14 psi. Even 10 is fine. Like I said, even if this got to be like a fully charged battery, engine speed 250 RPMs. Another thing I want to add is the computer is not my scan tool is not communicating with the ECM. But anyways, that tells me that ECM has an issue. Anyways, I also want to add to this. I did do a compression test prior to this. I wrote down the numbers here. I do got them here. They're shitty numbers right here. Cylinder 1, 135 psi. Cylinder 2 gave me 95 and 100 psi and a 93. That's when the water was in there, and the water was we had got rid of all the water, but some of the water still had made the engine block lose compression, so that could have been it. And now we're gonna get down to the bottom of this, and we're gonna bring up the camera right now, and let's see what it does for us. And we're gonna put this baby right here. Let me bring my I might have to move it around because I do need space for me to get around. Anyways, compression reading. Compression reading should be in the range of like 10 to 15 psi difference. And let's say this cylinder is 150 psi. This can be 140. It's okay. This one can be 143. Okay, this one meaning 10 psi to maximum 15 psi difference in each cylinder. Okay, a shitty engine. If it got 100, it still should start up. It's probably not gonna put load for you. If it got 140 and a 90 and a 50 psi and a 30 psi, bad engine, and it's probably most likely it might crank up and cut off. So to check compression, we're gonna disconnect all the injectors. Okay, they're right here. They're looking right at me, and this is pretty easy to work on. Another thing I want to add is, if you guys watched my last video on observing this car and what did I think about this car, and we do have a little push here, so this thing is locked in. What I was gonna say, what I was stating, I forgot my thoughts already. But anyways, if it comes across my mind again, I will let you guys know. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave this here. I'm gonna go crank the car and let's see what PSI we get. Right now, it is we don't have a number right now. So right now, this is what's showing us right now. It's 0 PSI. And the red numbers are the KPAs. And the other ones are PSI. We're going to go by PSI because that's what we use here in America. Anyway, I'm going to leave this here. And the battery's got to be fully charged. We don't have a fully charged battery. We got semi-charged battery. So what I want to do here is I'm going to go around the camera here. And I am gonna put my jumper box here. So let's see negative. Negative's on this side. Negative's here. And negative and positive. So let's see what PSI we get on cylinder 1. I'm gonna depress the gas pedal and I'm gonna crank the car for about 3 to 4 seconds. Okay, we didn't have good power there, but we do have a good, let's see, can the camera see right here? We do have a good compression there. That's past 150. Okay, let's release. I'm gonna come around and I'm gonna zoom out. We're gonna switch to cylinder number 2. Okay, this could be wet or dry test, but we're gonna just do dry test. I guess this is a semi-dry because they have water inside. And after that, we're gonna put the plugs in. Once I have the plugs in, we'll crank up and see what happens. And if anything, we'll check spark. But that all depends on our computer. So I'm gonna go crank one more time. And let me just see if my camera is recording. Yep, it's recording. All right, cylinder number 2. Depress the pedal. That should be good enough. Let's see what we got on this baby. Okay, I'm gonna go around the camera and we got perfect. Look at that. Okay, so far we did good so far with this baby. We got 100 and it's past 150. That's perfect. That's perfect. Okay. Let's go to the next cylinder. Let me zoom out one more time. I wish I had a cameraman or a girl. Anyways, remember our injectors are disconnected, so there's no fuel going in there. And if there's any chance the computer's controlling the fuel and everything. So we're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna leave this baby here. Cylinder number 3. Here goes nothing. Depress the pedal. That should be good enough. Okay, let's see what we got here. Such a tight spot. I'm not gonna bullshit you guys. I think we just saved the engine on this baby by doing all the stuff that you didn't see. Was be trying to take out the water, because every time we did something, it was like we had a sad face. It's my friend's car. I'm trying to save it for him, and he always helps me out. But every time we tried something, it hurted us. We had sad face, but today we got a happy, smiley face here. 150, 60 PSI. I think that's better than what manufacturer design is there. Anyways, there you go. And do we want to do the 4-cylinder? Might as well just do it and put my tool away. Give it back to my buddy that lended me because I couldn't get hands on mine. Anyways, here goes nothing. This is cylinder number 4. It doesn't matter, all the cylinders got to be equal or close to it. So I'm going to go inside and crank it up one last time. Okay, that was going to be the last crank on this baby. I am going to disconnect. Remember, we dried the computers and everything. Only thing is AB airbag module. That thing is shot. It has fishes inside. That thing is super deep. And if you could save the engine, we can just go buy another freaking ABS module. ABS module is not a big deal. You don't have to program nothing like that. And if you do need to flash it, you can get that done. Anyways, look at that. Look at this baby. I know you guys want to see the number. They all got equal amount of compression, all the cylinders. So we did pretty good here. Let me put this baby away. And next step here, what I want to do here is I'm going to put all the plugs in. Everything is dry in there. And we're going to fire up the car and let's see what it does. Okay, that'll be a part number 3. If there's any issues, we'll get to the bottom of that. And thank you for watching this compression test. Part 2, trying to start up the flooded car here. Anyway, guys, stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like, and give a thumbs up. So what I want to do here is I'm gonna put all the coils back, injectors, I mean, and I'm gonna put the plugs in. Then we're gonna try to crank this car up like normally, and if there's any issues, we'll follow up. Drinking my Pepsi.
Made a final decision. Placed the ECM for order. Compression tested good. ECM doesn't communicate with my scan tool. Okay, so we're inside this ion, and got flooded water damage in here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to communicate with the ECM. Just want to show you guys this does not communicate with the ECM. Got my ECM, dried it up, and it's over there. We're gonna do a manual ID. We're gonna do 2005. It's a XA 1.5. Okay, and we're gonna go to engine and automatic with AC. Codes only. Let's see if it goes in. And I dried it up, and it's been sitting for a few days. And there you go. New communication. Key is on. We got the key on. As you can see, the key is on. It's on position. And right there, if you can focus, key is on. And we got no, does not communicate whatsoever. So that ECM got to be shot. So I guess it's partially burnt ECM. Remember, like I said, only the half of the ECM engine control module when I opened it up originally, and I do have a clip of that once it was open. I'll add that to the end of the video or prior to in between somewhere. I probably did do it, or I'm recording this right now, but I probably will post that in there. ECM was kind of half wet, half dry. Like the whole ECM didn't get submerged in the water, so half of it must be shorted out. One more thing, yeah, that's it. So we're gonna wait for the ECM. What happens? Talking about the key, this car I believe doesn't have a programming with the key. I'm not sure, but I called a few locksmiths that works on my keys for me. He's charging $125. He says it's a 50-50 chance. We don't know with the use ECM, but he's gonna charge me regardless. But we're gonna plug in the computer. We're gonna crank it up. If it starts off, the car is good. Even if we gotta go to the dealer, my friend will take it. At least the car is saved. Few things I want to say. This is not so bad of a water damage. Engine got hydro locked. ECM got shot. The water didn't come up too high. But if you got a sea salt water, always gonna have electrical issues. Always you're gonna have shorts here and there. I wouldn't even go for that car. Don't even fix that car. And especially if you got high-end vehicle, it's not worth fixing it. It's not worth putting so much money into it. This was, like I said, time and money. So me doing all this on this vehicle is like $1,000, $2,000 just saying to me spending some time here, checking this, checking that, checking this, checking that. At the end, it might start up, like I said, even with the shitty compression, it might start up good, it might not start up good, or it might start up perfectly fine, and the head down the road just might give up. You don't know what's gonna happen, but that's all a chance. But I got a good hope and good faith in this vehicle, and the next part is gonna be putting the ECM in live video. Not a live, but we're gonna crank her up right there. There's gonna be no pre-test before after, but either we're gonna have a sad face or a good face or smiley face. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching my video. Stay tuned for the ECM part. So, my thoughts now is, do I need to check any further? I don't think so. Do I need to check the fuse for the computer? Does the computer has power and ground? It's a clearly sign that we have injector pulse at one time, then it cut off, no more injector pulse. So the ECM is going on and off. And then we had injector pulse once prior to this test. And at all times, we did have spark. That means the computer is clearly working. And meaning it's getting power and ground. So fuses doesn't need to be checked out, tested. It has power and ground because it is controlling the ignition coils. Another thing that comes across my mind is why there's no pulse in the injector. I had a Nissan years back. The key lost the programming, and what it did was it cut off injector, because they would cut off injectors, it would cut off fuel pump, it would cut off all the flammable things. Um, for safety reason, that car won't start. And if there's no, it could have compression, it could have spark, but if that gas is not there, uh, it's not gonna ignite up. It's not gonna fire up. Let's say the computer cuts off spark. The gas is a no-no because it cannot flood that engine. It cannot have a pulse in the injector and cut off the spark, because that's damaging the internal of the engine. So it would be possibility that anti-theft or the key is not being recognized by the computer. But then, on the other hand, my scan tool is not communicating. It's giving me an error. It is not communicating with the ECM, because the only way for me to know that it's not recognizing key, it would give me a code. It would tell me key not recognized. It would give me some type of sign, but it does not go through. So those are my thoughts on that.